Hey everyone, welcome back to Star Labs Confidential. For today, we're going to be celebrating 85 years of Superman. And as an extra bonus, I have Michael Byrnes here with me, as we're going to talk about all things Superman. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
So you're pretty much like one of the most famous cosplayers when it comes to Superman for over like a decade now or so?
Yeah, about a decade. It started actually 12 years ago with my kids. We went to Dallas Comic-Con, and it was just out of a whim. I asked them, I said, y'all want to go to this thing called Comic-Con and dress up? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So I got some costumes together when we went, and we were all dressed as Kryptonians, if you will. And we walked around, and we were pretty popular. And I was like, this is neat. So it kind of just blew up from there. We just kind of kept going with it. At least I did. The kids sort of dropped off from it. They don't do it anymore. However, I still do it. It's a passion now. Something I like to do. I've always liked Superman since I was a kid, so it just sort of hung on to it.
Very nice, yeah, because you're one of the few I think that does like all sorts of different costumes. Like you don't stick with the usual. You go with like either it's like Ultraman, Bizarro, any of the like alternate versions.
Yeah, I try to keep it, I say, fresh. But if there's a new iteration of Superman that comes out, I try to see where it can go. I just like new things as far as Superman. I always stick to the classic Christopher Reeve look. I love Christopher Reeve. But yeah, I think let's see, Bizarro Ultraman. I did the Superman Beyond. Kind of a Dean Cain amalgam, an animated one. I'm thinking about doing the Savage Superman that they recently came out with, where he's just in like a loincloth and a big Krypton, like a Kingdom Come S with the shield. I'm thinking about it. I gotta get a better shape.
Yeah, that could work. I think it was like World War.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I think Kingdom Come is one of my favorite ones. Alex Ross is one of my favorite artists, so I try to iterate that. And I met him in New York a few years ago, dressed as the Kingdom Come Superman, and he loved it. He said to me, he goes, "You're the best Kingdom Come Superman I've ever had." And I was like, oh, that's amazing. So that's for he as Chip Kidd was there, and then we said that I was the best Kingdom Come he'd ever seen. I was like, wow, I'm honored. That made my year. I was just a regular old guy dressed up like Superman, and he said I was the best. So that made me feel pretty good. So
Yeah, I have to agree, because like how with all the various pictures, yeah, just like you really look like Alex Ross's work brought to life.
Yeah, it's the square jaw. Of course, with a beard, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah.
That is true, but yeah. So besides Kingdom Come, like what else is your favorite look for Superman?
Like I said, the Christopher Reeve look is one of my favorites. It's the classic, with the red trunks and all that, with the yellow S on the back of the cape. That's one of my favorite ones. It's a pretty much a go-to. When I wear the Superman outfit, it has a psychological effect on the public. When I go out, people smile. They'll look at you and they say, "Oh my God, it's Superman," and they get this legit, real smile on their face. Whereas if I wear other costumes like Bane, they want to challenge you. You think you're tough? Whereas Superman brings a smile out. So I like to wear that one. It makes everyone happy, and everybody knows who Superman is. If you can go anywhere in the world dressed as Superman, and they know who you are. No one's going to confuse you for someone else. It's Superman is the way to go as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, not to describe like other cosplayers, but I say you're definitely one of the few that like it's not just like someone dressed up in a costume. Like it really looks like Superman. Like
yeah, I try. Like I said, when I was younger, I tried to do it. When I was, of course, a child, we wear those little masks that had a little hole in the mouth where you can barely breathe. That didn't work very well. And throughout the years, I think I wore like some spandex bike shorts and just a cut-up T-shirt with the cut-up cape. And then finally, I was like, I need a nice suit. So there was a guy in Dallas, and I asked him, would he make me a suit? And he delivered. And it was great. And I was like, wow, this looks great. And of course, the makeup when I do my makeup, I look totally different. So as you can see, I have sandy black hair, and I'll spray it with black hairspray, and I'll do the makeup, and it's a transformation. So people don't recognize me from Mike to Superman because it's the Clark Kent effect, because I look totally different.
Just with hairspray, like not hair dye or anything? Or?
No, it's just, you can go to Party City, get a little can of hairspray, and what I'll do is I'll take painter's tape and like put the painter's tape around my head so it doesn't mess up your face, and just spray it. And once you're done at the end of the day, you get in the shower, wash it out, and it comes right out. I tried to dye it once, it didn't look right, because I have to do different things to my face, like with makeup, and it just didn't look right. So yeah, with spray worked good. I stuck to it. So yeah.
So have you ever done like any of the more like moderns, like Man of Steel or New 52 versions of Superman?
I have a New 52 one. Matter of fact, the artist's name was Patrick Gleason. We were in New York, and I was dressed as the New 52, and he about jumped over the table to see me because that was who he drew. That was the New 52. So he came to me and he's like, I got to get your picture. I was like, yes, by all means. And then when I did the Red Sun, the artist who was there, he was like, oh my God, you look great. And I was like, thank you, which I didn't really want to do the Red Sun at first, but I was like, you know what, it's different. Let's try something different. And it turned out, and and it came off pretty good. So yeah. But he was like so ecstatic just to see his artwork embodied in a real person, you know?
Yeah, that's what's great with cosplayers like you, like where you take the time and effort to really develop these costumes. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Yes. I don't really sew, so I have to have people sew for me, but I'll tell them what I want. But as far as accessories, like I can make the belts, I can make a cape, but as far as like a full bodysuit, I have to have people sew that for me. So they're very understanding. And I also have a young lady in Dallas. I call her Kimmy Cosplay. Her name is Kim Voss, and she's made a couple suits for me, and she does wonderful work. So she's done the newer one that I had. As far as it looks more like an animated, but it's kind of like an amalgam animated with Christopher Reeve. She did my Superman Beyond suit and a few more, but yeah, she's amazing too. So I have to have people sew for me because I can't sew, to be honest with you, because yeah, I got big hands and I'll rip stuff and I'll tear things up, so I can't sew.
Hey, no judgment here.
Right.
Yeah, still, like with your New 52 look, for a moment I thought that was like your take on Tyler Hoechlin's suit from his new show, Superman and Lois.
No, I haven't done his yet. I've seen it. Matter of fact, I met him 2 years ago at Dragon Con. He was real sweet, real nice guy. But no, I haven't done his yet. I've seen other guys, cosplayers who do it. They do it real well. I think his cape inserts like right here, whereas mine does the typical Christopher Reeve where it goes in and around the back and it snaps in the back. So I haven't do Tyler's yet.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I like his current suit more than the first one he had before. Like, I wasn't too crazy about it when he had it on Supergirl.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did like his Fleischer suit though. When they first came out on he had a Fleischer suit. I was like, yeah. Oh, that's nice. In my opinion, they should have kept that, but that's just me because I have one of those and I like the Fleischer look.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought that in for like more than just one time.
Yes, yeah, I enjoyed that.
And even with recreating the shot from like the first Action Comics of Superman.
Yeah, that was neat. That was fun. I always like it when they have those little Easter eggs in there. Those are fun.
So I guess when it comes to with all the costumes, like, do you have like any kind of padding, or is it just like all you?
All me. I go to the gym. Of course, like I said, I train more in the spring, summer, and fall. When winter hits and when Christmas rolls around, I sort of take a seat back and I get a little fluffy. No, I don't have any padding. It's all me. I don't use muscle pads. I mean, if you do, that's fine. That's all good. I've just been blessed with this from my parents. My dad was a big old guy, and I don't use pads. If you do, great. Like I said, I don't. Not when I wear Superman. Like I said, if I were to do something like a huge, I don't know, an abomination suit, I would probably wear pads. But yeah, when I'm doing Superman, it's all natural as far as my body.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, hey, everyone's different, but yeah, it's just funny that now there's like other cosplayers that do like their own fitness stuff, and they, yes, for others like you, they definitely put more effort to like it's not just like putting on the costume, but also having like the right kind of physique for the characters that they're putting in.
Right. When I'm doing wintertime, Mr. Incredible's more my physique.
And that's what's funny. Like, instead of going with the Incredible family, you went with the Super family.
I went with the Super family. We did the Incredible family. Me and my daughter did. Like, she was Violet, I was Mr. Incredible, and I tried to get the other family to play along, but they don't play along. I did have a buddy up in New York. He was Frozone. His name's Naquin. He's amazing, by the way. He does a lot of Spider-Man stuff, but he did Frozone, and we did a couple photo shoots together, and it turned out really great. So yeah, if you ever look up Naquin, he's amazing. That guy, when he does Spider-Man, he does it for real. And he's in New York, and he goes out and hangs off buildings and bridges, and I'm like, you're a crazy dude, but you know what? And I just like having the cosplay friends out there who know what they're doing and how they want to perceive the characters. So yeah, I like the cosplay community is really a fun community to be around. So it's like you get to know each other by their costumes. I swear, when we were up in New York, I didn't know somebody by their name. I knew them by their characters. Like, oh, that's the Joker. All right, that's Poison Ivy. So yeah, that's the way it got for a while.
yeah, but it's great that there's communities like yours that have to know like your actual like names and stuff, but still keep that, good context and stuff, and it's all friendly, I would say, right?
Yeah. Like I said, because I was in the Air Force for 24 years, and my last 2 years, they stationed me up in McGuire Air Force Base, and I had the opportunity to go up to New York and go to a lot of those conventions up there. And I got hooked up with this group called DC Cosplayers East, and basically we would just go to different Comic-Cons dressed up as different characters, and that group got huge. And the one guy who ran it was Rob Frank, and he was always like, Mike, come with me over here to this Comic-Con. Mike, come over here. That's my right. But and people would honestly, they wouldn't even know my first name. They would just know that's Superman. They wouldn't even call me Mike. Oh, that's Superman. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll live with that. But as far as the cosplay community goes, yeah, it's a fun community. I mean, you just, like I said, get to know folks and talk to folks. You ask them about how they did something, or how did you make this and that and other. And for example, I was in Dragon Con, and this fella had these pointy ears, and I was going to do Black Adam, the original, where he pointy ears. And he showed me, do this, and put a little earring clasp on your ear to cover the seam. I was like, that's smart. So I went with it. So yeah, it makes a great community. You get to talk to folks, make friends. It's a cool place to be when it comes to cosplay in the community. Just go out and see folks, interact.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe, especially around the Metropolis Superman Festival.
Oh, that is the Superman Festival itself. That's like a family. I mean, if you go to the Superman Festival, the celebration, you become part of the family. I mean, that's all the Superman players that come up there. They know everybody. I swear, every one of those guys that come up to the Metropolis Superman Festival, they are on point. Every single one of them. They look like Superman. You want to see a Superman, you go to the festival, and you can take your pick from which one you think looks like whichever artist that drew it that year. It's amazing. So yeah, I love that place. I need to go back up there. I haven't been in a minute, but I love that festival. It's fun. But like I said, that is home. When you go there, that is Superman's home. You can go see I guess it's a 19 or 20 foot statue of Superman. It's fun up in Metropolis.
It definitely is. Yeah, the Superman Museum, like it dwarfs any kind of collection I've seen. And around my home state, yeah, I even met a guy that had like a quote unquote a bat cave for a basement, and it even made like the local paper, and it was something. But compared to the museum, it's like a small trifle.
Oh, their museum. I mean, I want to say Jim is the guy who started it, and his daughter Morgan, she runs it now. But they do a wonderful job is preserving all of the items from way back when, from the beginning of Superman's history till now. You walk through it, and it's got every iteration of Superman in there, and it's well preserved, and it's amazing. Like I said, if anybody ever wants to see anything, if you don't think of Superman, go to Metropolis. Metropolis is the place to go. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was a family trip every year. We would go every summer. We'd go around June. So, of course, we lived in Illinois, so it was kind of easy to do that.
So I guess for you, like, what was your first exposure to Superman? Like, what's the first thing you remember when you got to see Superman, I guess, on screen or anything like that?
Well, let's see. I'm from the 70s. So growing up, I want to say we had the Super Friends and of course the Superman cartoon that came on. And the Superman movie with Christopher Reeve came out. And that was a big deal for me, seeing Christopher Reeve on screen. And I remember we went to, like me and my dad went to a gas station. And when you were a kid in the 70s, you didn't ask your family for nothing. You just don't ask for nothing when you go inside the store. Just hush. But I remember going in there and I picked up a comic book and I looked at my dad and I was like, I really want this. Can I have this? And he looked at me and he goes, you can have that. I was like, oh. And it was a Superman comic. And it kind of made me draw towards that. And I still have it somewhere. But I read the hell out of that. And then I went back. And I said, Dad, this is the second part of that book. You can have that. And I was like, all right. But watching that, or reading that, and of course watching Super Friends and watching the Superman cartoon that they put on TV, that's pretty much my first exposure to it. And then, like I said, Christopher Reeve movie was a big, big deal for me. I mean, honestly, that's a core memory for me. I can remember what I was doing, how I was sitting, what I was drinking, what I was eating. The whole show. I mean, it was a strawberry Fanta and popcorn, and I sat there looking up like, this is amazing. This is amazing. So, and when they say you'll believe a man can fly, I believed, and I was hooked ever since then. So I love that show.
Yeah, I mean, I never grew up with. I mean, I remember seeing Chris Reeve back then when I was a kid, but I say for me, like, the most I remember was definitely from the '90s animated series with Tim Daly doing the voice and how they did Lois and everything. Yeah, that show just stuck with me.
I love that show. And when I got to meet George Newbern, he was the voice for Superman in Justice League. And I got to meet him at New York Comic Con, and he was impressed with the way I looked. And I got to speak with him, but he was amazing. But as far as the animated show goes, I love that show. It came on, it was kind of right after the Batman show come on, so I liked their animated style. But I really loved that show. That was great. They did a good job with that.
That they did, especially when they had a crossover. I would rewatch that lots of times.
Yeah, where he told Batman, I know you're what was it? I know you're wild or something, but I don't know you're crazy or something to that effect. But I was like, yeah, Batman's crazy.
That he is, but resourceful.
I don't remember the exact quote. Yeah, when he had the kryptonite. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a dirty trick. Although I'd say finding out his secret identity, that's even more a dirty trick. Well, I guess on both of them, really.
Right. He's like, oh, you cheated. You looked it through. You used your X-ray vision and looked through my mask.
They always have him do that.
Right.
So I guess you could say, like, Superman has been a big influence in your life growing up.
Yes. Honestly, I would take his values to heart. I mean, like I said, my dad was a cop growing up, and then he was also a World War II vet. So we were very patriotic in my family, and growing up, I always looked to Superman to think that he was a patriotic symbol. I just liked the way his values were, down home, truth and justice. I always respected that. I won't say that he was an influence on me going in the Air Force, but I won't say it didn't. And matter of fact, when I was in the military, mind you, I used to power lift and do bodybuilding back in the day, but we were in a place called Bruckmühlbach, something like in Germany. I can't remember the name. But they were having a wine fest, and this guy parked wrong. And I was like, I'll move that car. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'll move it. And there's this little car. I'm not even joking. It's called a Bon Jovi car. And I got out and I was wearing a Superman jersey. And I picked it up and moved the car. And they was like, oh, you are Superman. I was like, sure, sure. And then from then on, my call sign in the military was Superman.
You actually did that. You moved. I mean, how big is a Bon Jovi car again? Like,
it's a little car, but it was enough to where I could pick it up and move it over. So I was like, yeah. It wasn't like it was a huge Chrysler, but it was enough to where I could get out and move it. So, but yeah.
oh my God, that's incredible. Like, I mean, still, even for a car, that car's got weight like
I don't know,
a lot of weight, but
it was just big enough. Like I said, it was big enough to where I can move it, and I was like, I'll move this. No one else could do it, but.
Yeah, the nickname, the costume, everything just fits. Yeah, you are definitely Superman.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's this guy one of the craziest things I ever heard. And this was like before or after you guys had a few drinks?
Before we were making our way, we were trying to park to go to the festival. Brook Mulebach, I think it's the way it's pronounced. If I say it wrong, I apologize. But it was in Germany. It was a wine festival. I was stationed at Ramstein.
Wow, that's incredible.
I don't think I could do that now. That's when I was much younger. So, but yeah, that was when I was doing powerlifting. So yeah, I used to love powerlifting. That was my stress relief. Lift as heavy as I could.
I mean, what was the heaviest you could remember lifting?
Not a pro powerlifter by no means. I think I got 560 deadlift at one time. And I think I got 530 pound squat. But trust me, there's way stronger guys out there that will probably like laugh at that. I think the heaviest bench was like 430, but that was when I was way younger. I don't think I can even come near those numbers anymore.
So what is it about Superman that you like so much? I mean, I know you mentioned with the whole with his character, Patriots and that, but like, I guess what is it that really got you to really admire so much about him and to where you are now?
Like I said before, he's the original. No one can, deny that he was, in my opinion, the original superhero. Everyone comes from the thought of a superhero being Superman. You look at people, I mean, even with Batman, they wanted a darker figure, but they wanted someone to be super, so to speak. And throughout the years, people just sort of emulated what Superman was. Don't get me wrong, there's different people who have different powers. For example, Thor's a Norse god, and he has this hammer, which I love Thor too, by the way. And then there's just the different characters that they try to be their own character, but let's be honest, they wouldn't be there unless Superman had started it out. He's the original. He's the OG. He's the true justice, the American way. He is the man. He always has, I want to say, a respectable way about him. Everyone sort of respects where Superman comes from. He's honorable. He comes off like a typical, I want to say, an American figure of honesty, so to speak. And don't get me wrong, they've had storylines where he's gone rogue. I've read those. But when it boils down to the meat and potatoes of it all, Superman was the nice guy. He was to be trusted. Whereas Batman will tell you that's one of his weaknesses, where he cares too much. I was like, well, who cares? Let's care a little bit. Even Zod said it. Oh, well, that's one of his weaknesses. He cares for these people. I was like, yeah, we care.
That's what I was gonna say. What are your thoughts on when you see like all these stories about Superman going rogue and stuff?
Well, here's the thing. You got to keep it fresh. You got to keep things new. I get what they're doing. Sometimes it's fun just to see him go off the deep end, I should say. But when you look at it, you're like, well, would you really trust a person? Had they done that to you before? If someone knocked your building down and you came back, in reality, would you really trust them? But in the comic book world, everyone trusts Superman because he was either brainwashed, he got exposed to red kryptonite, or this, that, and the other. But it's fun to watch him go off a little bit. Like, for example, in Smallville, when Clark got a hold of the red kryptonite and he was the bad boy, it was just kind of fun to watch him unleash a little bit. Because, you know, most humans would probably unleash a little bit, whereas Superman really has to draw back, you know, because Jonathan Kent, his adopted father, was always trying to keep him humble, which I can respect that. But it's like I said, the storylines where he goes off the deep end, they're fun. They're fun because you're sitting there going, yeah, it's about time you got rid of this dark side character or whom else was acting up that day. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just something like where like you get like something like Man of Steel where they wanted to go with darker route of Superman actually like killing, or the Injustice like video games and stuff where he goes full on dictator.
Yeah, I didn't like that too much. I understood. I remember I was playing a video game and I was like, why is he the bad guy? And they did that movie recently, or cartoon. And then the Superman that I like shows up. I was like, oh, here he is from whatever Earth he came from. I was like, there's my guy. And then, of course, it was always Batman's plan to bring Lois in to save the day. I'm like, is Lois really the trick that keeps him from killing folks? But I guess she is because he loves her so much. But yeah, the Injustice game, I enjoyed it. You know, you see him go off the deep end and act crazy. But I always like it where he's true to his nature.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta tell you though, I wasn't a big fan of the movie adaptation. I kind of prefer more the games.
Yeah? I
Yeah.
like Henry Cavill. He did a good job. Henry did a good job. They were, and then I get it, they were trying to make things more edgy. Like when they brought him back in the movie, it was a little different than in the comic book. Because in '92, when Doomsday killed him, and you read The Reign of Superman were the four guys, you were thinking which one was which. And I remember reading the series thinking, I don't think any of these guys are him. This can't be right. This just didn't feel right. And of course he comes back in the black suit. I was like, there's my guy. There's my guy. So, and I think, like I said, with the movies, they were trying to do that, but they made him kind of crazy where he was fighting the Justice League. But I did like the line where he asked Batman, do you bleed? I was like, there you go. Because remember in the other movie, he asked him, do you bleed? Batman asked Superman that. And I was like,
yeah, my God. Yeah, that's in the Whedon cut. I mean, the Snyder cut doesn't say that.
Yeah, I saw that. But I liked it. That was a good line for me. I was like, yeah, get back at him. And then, of course, when he landed, Batman landed on the ground, he goes, I guess I do bleed. Something like that. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that pissed off a lot of Bat fans.
Oh, yeah, the Bat fans hated that.
Yeah.
I like Batman, but I was like, hey, you're messing with a Kryptonian.
Yeah, I know, just like, because I mean, in the Death of Superman, Reign of Superman arc, like, they didn't really, like, do something like that to speed up his resurrection. Like, that happened on his own.
Yeah. I think it was Keelix that came and got him and took him. In fact, my memory serves, Keelix came and got him and took him to the regeneration spot. And then the Eradicator, of course, you know, he shot the energy through him and absorbed the Eradicator's energy. So, of course, the Eradicator's the nanny. But yeah, if I'm getting my story right, yeah. I like that story. That was good. It was 92 when he died, and I can actually remember we were driving from the comic book store in Mississippi down Highway 90, and I was just reading it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like looking at my friend, I was like, oh my God, they just killed Superman. She's like, are you upset? I was like, I'm pretty damn upset about this. it was kind of harsh for me, you know? And then of course they came out with The Reign of Superman. I was like, oh good, they're bringing him back.
That's what's funny, because I guess when they were doing the Reign of the Superman, I guess they figured out like maybe bring in someone else to be Superman, but you know, they basically split him up into 4 different people. Like, Superboy then was pretty much like the ego without any humility. Steel represents like the humanity side of Superman, and the Eradicator, the Kryptonian side, then the cyborg Superman, the power.
Right. I enjoyed the Eradicator. At first, I thought he was going to be Superman, that something had messed with his mind. But then as I was reading, I was like, something's off. But yeah, I like that storyline. They did a really good job with that, and I loved the Steel character. like you said, the humanity of it all. I liked him.
Same. I'm glad they brought him in for Superman Lois, but do a little bit of a plot twist.
Yeah, that was different. That was different. I mean, I like anything that comes out with Superman on TV shows or the movies. I'll watch it. It's fun. I have to take it some of it with a grain of salt because it's not what you're used to as far as the typical or the original. But like I said, you got to keep it fresh. You just can't keep delving out the same stuff or people won't watch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and plus, given with how other media stuff is doing, you could say it's multiverse theory because like Marvel's now exploring everything as a multiverse with the Spider-Man actors, and DC has definitely done that through other products. So
I love the Marvel movies. I mean, I could probably quote you some stuff from that. I'll sit and watch those over and over. They did a good job. Marvel, I'll be honest with you, Marvel did a really good job promoting those characters, putting them out there. I kind of wish Warner Brothers had done the same formula as far as sticking to a whole story arc and keeping them going, but they dropped that recently where James Gunn took over, and he's going to do something new. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not in the Hollywood business as far as directing or producing, but I get it. You got to make money. But I kind of wish they stayed on that line and brought him in like they did with Marvel. Because Marvel, they had different phases. And each one I enjoyed. Some people probably laugh at me, but I even enjoyed the She-Hulk show. So,
yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily hate it. I hate it, but I mean, I'm glad I found out that She-Hulk's like fourth wall breaking. That is true to her comic. I didn't think that was, because when you think fourth wall breaking, that's Deadpool. Like Deadpool's the most famous one to do that.
If you read the old comic books with She-Hulk, she broke the fourth wall. I remember when, I want to say in the 80s, I was really big into, like I said, bodybuilding, and anything bodybuilding that looked bodybuilder type, I would get it. And She-Hulk had that look. So I started reading She-Hulk. I know that sounds weird, but I'm reading a comic book. Oh, that's the way these bodybuilder girls look. But I enjoyed the She-Hulk story. And matter of fact, I want to say the writer or the producer, I can't remember what the girl's name, Jennifer Wiedersett, her brother used to live here. So it was one of those things. Oh, I know your sister. He goes, well, read this, this book this time, this She-Hulk book. Okay. I think that's her name. If I'm mispronouncing, I apologize. I like Jennifer something. But yeah, like I said, I liked where Marvel was going with the movies. I liked what they were doing. The character development was great. When Iron Man came out, it was new. It was like, wow, look at this. And Robert Downey Jr. couldn't have been a better Iron Man. When they picked, Thor, Chris Hemsworth, I was like, yeah, that's about right. Captain America, I was like, I thought, why would they use the same actor that they used for Fantastic Four as Human, but he did a great job. And like I said, as they progressed on, I've just been a fan of those two. So anything, like I said, any comic genre, I just love it. Even with Spawn and Todd McFarlane's characters, I love those guys. I was a big Spawn fan back in the 90s too. So it took a while for me to finally move away from it, because I was really, really into Spawn. I think I got up to issue 100 where I finally just stopped buying them. Of course, it just got to the point, I was like, all right, I got enough. And then of course, I was in the military, I was moving around, so I couldn't really keep up.
Yeah, I'm not a big Spawn reader, but I'm guessing things got very more dark and...
Yeah, which I didn't mind that so much. They had that one character, they sort of based him off a serial killer, and the one guy, they killed him with, cramming ice cream down his face. And I was like, okay. And it was pretty impressive. And I was like, you killed off a main bad guy. I was impressed that they did that. So Todd knew what he's doing, so that's why he's making the big dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, but I agree with you. Warner Bros. Should have done something. It's just, I feel like partly why they were just rushing everything is because, for people like you and me, we're used to some of these characters, for Superman and Batman, they've been around in movies and TV shows since both of you and I were kids. In fact, in some ways, even before either of us were even born.
Yeah, way before.
Yeah.
Yeah, come to find out, my dad was a big fan of Superman when he was younger. That's probably the reason he let me get that comic book when I was at the store. If I didn't find out that my dad was a big Superman fan until later in life, so because he passed when I was 10, and I really didn't get time to speak to him that much. And then I would speak to like my aunts and things like that, and they're like, "Oh, your dad was really into Superman." I was like, "Really? I didn't know that." He's like, "Yeah, he used to have a stack of comic books by his bed." And I go, "Where are those at now?" They're like, "Oh, they're gone." Man, I'd love to have that stack. But anyway, yeah, I didn't until later on in life. That's funny.
Wow, that's a touching story. For me and my dad, yeah, we share similar as well. Like he's definitely a Superman fan as well. Like I don't think he has a stack of comic books, but yeah, he'll watch a lot of the shows to me with Batman, Superman, a lot of the comic book stuff.
Yes. Well, now I have 2 grandchildren. I know I'm old now, but me and my grandson will watch the shows, and he's a big fan of Spider-Man. So we'll watch Spider-Man, and then finally I was like, "Hey, let's put on the Justice League." Okay. So I had to put it in there, just sort of ease it in there. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing why I feel like they rushed it, because DC made so much animated content. Like for Jason Momoa's Aquaman, it reminded me from the show's version of Aquaman, where they went with the whole like Conan the Barbarian underwater.
Yeah. And I like Jason Momoa. I think he's a great actor. I think they did a good job. Me and my buddy Mike Sullivan, we were talking about it when we watched the movie, the brother Ocean Master. We were like, well, he's the one that looks like Aquaman. I was like, why didn't you just use him? But like I said, I'm not the producer. I'm not the guy making the choices out there. So even though I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, we were like, yeah, the Ocean Master actor, he's more Aquaman than anybody else. So what do you do?
Yeah, no, that's why I'm baffled. Sometimes I'm baffled with these producers, but what can you do?
What do you do? Make your own, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want to go with the traditional looking style because they felt like that'd be boring. So I guess they figured like let's just go with a more big hair, like pirate looking kind of vibe.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Jason Momoa, he looks great. He brings the people to the theater. So if that's what brings folks to the theaters, come on.
That is true.
Something new.
Yeah, so far Aquaman is the biggest selling DC movie ever.
Wow, yeah. Well, it's Jason. It's Jason. Yeah. He brings the people in there. Obviously, let's be honest, a lot of the ladies, like a lot of the girlfriends, probably wouldn't want to go see Aquaman just for Aquaman unless there's somebody there who looks, appealing. They're like, I want to go see Jason Momoa, and they'll go see Jason Momoa. Or as far as Thor, they want to go see Chris Hemsworth. So come on now.
Pretty
the
much.
Women are reason. They're not just going because they know these characters, unless of course they grew up with it. They're going to go see these actors, which is fine. That's great.
Yeah, pretty much. Still, like, how do you think it's going to be with this new DCU under Jason Gunn?
Oh man, I don't know. I looked at the lineup. I was really loving the fact that Superman was getting older. I can kind of relate to that because, of course, I'm getting older. And they're going to make Superman young again. They're always trying to revamp Superman so he looks, I guess, where the younger people can relate to him more. And I can dig it. But I was really looking forward to an older Superman. And then someone had mentioned they wanted to do like a Kingdom Come movie, which I would love that to happen. I mean, I'm available. Call my agent. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I do like the fact that they're doing a Swamp Thing show. I watched the TV show. I enjoyed that. They could have gone a little darker but they probably think they went dark enough. I do like the fact that they're bringing out the Green Lanterns with Jon Stewart. I like that. Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart. I'm digging that. As far as where they're going, I don't know. I like James Gunn's work. The Guardians of the Galaxy are some of my favorite films. He does really good stuff there. But it's where they're going in this new direction. Time will tell. I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'm not going to down it before it even comes out. A lot of folks do that. Oh, it's going to suck. I'm like, give it a chance. Give it a chance. I watched that old Fantastic Four movie, and it was the worst, in my opinion. Not the one with Jessica Alba, but the other one.
The Silver Surfer one?
No, after that.
Oh, no. Fan Four Stick. That's what they call it, Fan Four Stick, because they put like the four like in the middle of the word fantastic.
Yeah, that was the worst one in my opinion. And I know people that were, like, it didn't come off right. It had a horrible feel to it. Dr. Doom was horribly represented. I just wasn't a fan. But like I said, I gave it a shot. I watched it. I was like, well, let's see what it's like. So I don't think James Gunn will go down that rabbit hole. I think James Gunn will do a better job. If he's a true comic fan, I think he'll stick to the whole nature of what the heroes are, and he'll go back to the original settings of what Superman is here to be. I don't know. Are they going to do Superman with the Robert Pattinson Batman? Is that the same? I don't know if they're doing that or not.
Unfortunately, no. James Gunn declared that for like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and Pattinson's Batman, they're considered DC's Elseworlds.
Elseworlds. Okay, you're right. Yeah, so it'll be new. It'll be something fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I hope it'll be more of a brighter Superman movie. When I say brighter, it's more uplifting. Like when you watched, I don't know if you ever watched, I guess you watched the original Christopher Reeve one. It was the very beginning scenes where he was in Smallville. It was bright, it was sunny, it was sort of uplifting. Of course, his dad passed. But where you saw Kansas, it was blue skies, wheat fields. It was like, this is where Superman came from. He grew up as Clark Kent. This is where he got his morals from that great farm family out in Kansas. So I like that. I like that feel. And anytime they show that in the movies or the TV shows where he's on the farm, I always like that. It just feels humble. Superman tries to be a humble character, and we see where he gets it from. It's more of a nature over nurture, where nurture looks like it pretty much came into play there. Because if he didn't have the Kent family raising him, he might have gone a different direction, as we saw in Red Son. He went a different. But I always like how they go back to the Kansas farm. I always love that.
Yeah, that's what I like with stories like with Smallville, where you see like him growing up in his hometown with his parents, and even like with stuff like Superman Lois, and even the recent anime movie Battle of the Super Sons. It was nice that they're raising Jonathan Kent at the farm.
I love that Super Sons, where John was in Smallville and Clark was raising a son. I was really a big fan of that they were showing, the fatherly side of Superman, because I have 4 kids and I was raising them, of course not on a farm, but it showed Superman being humble, and they even showed him, you got to do your chores, you got to work for what you get, and he was basically teaching him to be a good kid all around. And even when Jonathan went to the Batcave and met Batman and Damian, they brought the cow out. I'm like, oh, brought the bat cow. And I was like, milk that cow. And he milked the cow. I was like,
yeah, that's surprising. I never thought Damian would have a thing for like animals like that, for a bat cow.
And then of course, in the back of my mind, like, who's cleaning up after that cow? That cow's gonna leave a lot of mess. So that's just me out that I've worked on a farm here and there, but yeah. You got a cow in a bat cave, there's going to be a mess. But anyway, I really enjoyed that show. I liked how they portrayed Superman as just being a fatherly figure. I really, really dug that. And I was hoping they'd stay with that to where they'd watch him grow throughout the years, but then they grew him up fast, and I was like, oh, I kind of wish they'd keep him young. I kind of wanted to see that more, but it is what it is. I know where they were going with it. They wanted him to take over the other. I guess did he go to the Legion of Superheroes later on? I believe. Or
for Smallville, it's been a while, but I felt like after like 4 or 5 seasons, I feel like this title of the show should have been called Metropolis, because that's where most of their time would be, like where Clark was doing Superman things, but just not having the name. And they did have an episode where the Legion did appear, but they went back and he stayed.
Yeah. I dig those. I like like I said, I like the new Superman and Lois show. As a matter of fact, I got to meet the 2 young actors in Dallas, and they were really nice. I think they got rid of one of them, unfortunately, but
yeah, I think it was Jonathan. Yeah,
they replaced him, which I was like, oh goodness, but it's Hollywood. What do you do? I don't make the call. But I like that show. It was different. I kind of liked how they showed. I didn't, like I said, they had twins, so that was new. I liked how they had the one son taking the K to amp his powers up. I dug that. Like I said, everything's, when they do these shows, when they come up with new aspects to make the character more interesting, it's for a reason. They're just trying to make themselves, I guess, more profitable, if you want, with more characters, but more relatable. So, but and I like seeing the family side of the super family. I always dug that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, because like they took like some aspects of what they did for Black Lightning, the CW, but then applied it to Superman, which I say that definitely works. And I wasn't sure about for the twins either, because it's just Jonathan, but given how they're named, it works. Like Jordan, Jor-El, so. Yeah, yep. Plus when you see Jonathan's counterpart, it's like he's kind of like the original Connor Kent Superboy in terms of like with the costume and original personality, where he was trying to be a hotshot.
Right. I like Connor. I like one Kal-El, if they call him. I like that Superboy. I also do like the fact that he was one of the characters in the Reign of Superman. I like that one, but like I said, sometimes it's hard to keep up. It's like, what did I miss? Am I reading something different now? Because they'll switch planets in the comic books. Like, where am I reading?
Yeah, that's why I stick mostly with Miyazaki things. Like, just with like Superman, Justice League, Young Justice. Like they have a
Oh, I love the Young Justice. That was a great show. It was a great show.
I'm a bit upset that they are not going with the season 5, because they kind of left on a cliffhanger with supposedly evil Supergirl.
Yeah, they did that, and of course Zod's son. They were gonna like build him back up. So yeah, they left you on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that was the biggest twist of where they brought in like Zod's son, who like that is an actual character. Because I remember I think in the comics there was something where Superman and Lois adopted him for a bit before Jonathan was even a thing. Yeah, because they called him what was it? Oh yeah, Christopher Kent.
Christopher. I wonder where they got that from, right? I think I remember that.
Yeah, plus for season 5, they could have done like a major time skip where we would gotten like the Jonathan Kent Superboy with Damian Wayne and probably a few of the other newer kids now as teenagers.
Right. Yeah, I like the Supergirl aspect of it. I wish they would have kept it up. We enjoyed the Young Justice show. Like I said, when we went to the Comic-Con, the kids were dressing up as the Young Justice kids. My youngest boy, he was Kid Flash. My youngest daughter was Megan. My oldest boy was Superboy. But then my oldest daughter didn't want to do anything Young Justice. She just wanted to be Supergirl. I was like, that's fine. And then my wife was supposed to be Robin. So we were going to have a whole Young Justice thing. And my wife borrowed someone's Halloween costume of Robin. And we got Alice. And I was like, did you try that on yet? She says, it'll fit. I was like, you should have tried it on. Of course, we get there, it didn't fit. So Robin Les for our Young Justice shoot. So, and then we went and visited Stan Lee, and it was one of the last times we got to see Stan Lee, and he was loving it. He goes, "Y'all look great." I was like, "Thank you," and he complimented all the kids, and he gave me a big compliment. He says, "You really fill that suit out. You look like Superman." I was like, "Thank you, sir. I appreciate that so much." So anytime anyone pays me a compliment, I take it to heart, remember it forever. It means a lot to me. So yeah, when Stan Lee gives you a compliment, God rest his soul. It was important. It was fun. It was nice that he took the time out to do that. So, but yeah, as far as Young Justice goes, that's how that sort of played in the meeting. Stan Lee in Dallas.
That wasn't great. I wish I got a chance to meet Stan Lee at a con before he passed.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. We got to see him in New York. I think it was a year before he went to heaven. He wasn't as jovial. I'll just put it that way. He just sort of sat there, and there was thousands and thousands of people lined up to take his picture, and it was sort of quick. They ran you in, and they told you, "Don't talk to him." I'm like, "What?" They said, "Don't talk to him. Just stand there, take a picture." And I'm like, "I'm gonna at least say hi to the man. I mean, that's kind of rude. I'm a Southern boy. I must say hi to you." And I was like, "Hey, Stan." He's like, "Hey." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's in and out. It was that quick. I was like, but I had people to get through. There was thousands of people on the line, but it was the last time we got to see Stan. And like I said, I love Stan Lee. He's one of the reasons that we read comics. Excelsior.
Yeah, I had the same vibe when I got to see Kevin Conroy a second time, because I say you could be able to talk with him a bit, but I don't know. Before I even knew anything at the time, like he definitely was not like he looked like his usual self. He looked like, I don't know, like felt like he was like tired or something. I wasn't sure what was going on, but something felt off. And because I remember the first time I met him, which was, I think it was 10 years ago, I did my impression of a Joker left, and he actually got spooked and was impressed.
Nice. I have a buddy that too. We were in line to meet Kevin, and I want to say his cosplay name is Andrew Arkham, but he does a great Joker, and he did that for Kevin, and Kevin's like, "That's pretty good." So I guess he gets that or he got that all the time. Kevin did. People coming up talking to him like the Joker.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and I guess what I liked is that for a later con, I think maybe a year or so after, he recognized a couple of my friends that went to a different con he was at because of me. Like, "Yeah, you were with the guy that did that laugh."
Oh, very nice. You remembered you.
Yeah.
That's always nice when they remember you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, he didn't remember me when I saw him this past year, but it has been a while.
Yeah. We've slept since then, so to speak.
Yeah. And it's just crazy that was the last con he was actually at in Connecticut.
Oh, wow. No. Yeah, that's sad. He was a great voice actor. I enjoyed all his work. Anytime when you see Batman, that's the voice in your head that you hear. I was like, "Oh, that's Batman." It's Batman.
Agreed. Yeah, that's what's amazing. Like, he doesn't do just like one version. He's done like pretty much every version of Batman you could think of.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they brought the old actors on the TV show, like Adam West came on there to play the Gray Ghost. I enjoyed that. I love it when they bring in the old actors to the new shows. I love it when they bring those into the projects. That makes it feel like it's home again, so to speak. So I love it when they do that. That's always fun.
Same, especially with Smallville, when they bring in like both Dean Cain and Christopher Reeve.
Yep. And Helen Slater, I believe she was on one of them. If I'm not mistaken. Or she was on Small Girl. Super.
Well, yeah, she did both. Yeah, she was Supergirl. Yeah, and Smallville too. Yeah, I think she played Clark's birth mom, Laura.
Yep. Laura. Yep. Smallville and Supergirl. She was on the Small Girl. Boy, I tell you what.
That's another thing. Like, I mean, do you think Henry Cavill could still like maybe be involved in Superman in some way? Like, maybe it doesn't have to be part of the mainstream DCU franchise. Maybe like an Elseworld story.
God, I hope so. I mean, honestly, if they ever do a Kingdom Come show, like I said, they can hire me, but they can definitely get him. He's the $1 million man who's proved his salt. He could do that, and I hope they bring him back. I don't know if Henry will do it, but I liked Henry. I never met the man, but just in his interviews and seeing him on the shows, I think he's good people. It'd be a waste of that reputation, if not bringing him back. Like I said, they brought Gene Kane back for shows. Why can't they bring Henry back?
I agree, yeah, because I mean, because how you point out with the ages and stuff, like they point out that how like they gotta find a younger Superman actor, yet for Robert Pattinson, he's almost the same age as Henry Cavill, yet they're having him as like a somewhat younger Batman, like I think a year two, like after 2 years or so. So I'm like,
yeah,
you can't just sit. And even with this new other Bat movie they're gonna make with him and having Damian, that Batman's gotta be probably 40s at least, like 40s, maybe mid 40s, if he's gonna have like Damian on top of like the rest of the Bat family.
Right. I like Damian. A lot of people don't like Damian. I've always liked him. I know smart ass, but let's be honest, he was raised by Ra's al Ghul. He was, he's basically a ninja, and he's got this chip on his shoulder. But I'm thinking that's what he would be like. He would be, a brat, but a cocky one that knows what he's doing, and he can take you out. Even in the cartoon, they showed where Nightwing had a hard time dealing with him. I was like, that's the original Robin. Nightwing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it's basically if Batman begins like if with Bruce being mentored by Ra's, like that's what Damian is kind of like. It's basically if Bruce was raised fully by Ra's and become like groomed to be a successor. So if you don't like Damian, then that means you don't like Batman, because
I've always liked all the Robins. That's just, I like Batman. Me and the kids, we dressed up as Batman and Robin one time, and we did the Dark Knight one where I was the older Batman and my daughter was the female Robin, Kelly. And then my other son, my youngest son, Mason, he was one of the mutants, and we did that. And which is kind of amazing because he has big red hair. He's got big curly hair. And he didn't complain the whole time. He had like a ball cap holding that down with makeup all over him. He didn't complain one bit. I was the one bitching because that Batman cowl is hot. And we were in Dallas in the summer, and I had to walk to get there. And it's just rubber. And the cape was pleather, so I'm sweating, and my whole costume was wet. So,
oh God. Your question: do you feel like with your voice, like, was it hard to speak normally? Do you feel like you were like running out of breath or anything with all that?
Well, here's the thing. The nose only had like these little bitty holes in them, and I had to adjust the cowl so I could breathe. Whereas other cowls, they have bigger nostril holes, or they don't have any at all. People just breathe through their mouth. When I wore that cowl, it was a challenge. I do have a Space Ghost cowl that has bigger. It looks like a Batman cowl. Obviously, it was made from a Batman cowl. A guy, his name's Dale Morton, he made the Space Ghost costume for me. But he made it to where the little ears, it was a Hush Batman cowl, and he chopped the ears off and sanded them down and made it to where it looked like Space Ghost. But the nose holes were bigger. So if I can't breathe, I'm gonna have a problem. I was like, we got some issues. I got to breathe.
Yeah, that's I feel like why Christian Bale had that kind of Batman voice. I feel like he was trying something, but I feel like with the way the suit was on him, probably because of how like tight and everything, especially maybe even the nose. That's probably why he sounds all like ruffled. Like,
no, well, it didn't affect my voice. It affects the way I breathe, but I don't think it affects. voice anything. You can talk like that, but it's, I don't know. I wasn't in his suit, so and I do know some fellas who did the Veil suit, and they'll change their voice. There's a guy, the New York City, I call him the New York City Batman, Eddie, up in New York. He's great. He will change his voice, and he wears like these really blue contacts. And when he talks to you, you're like, wow, he's not but this big, but he's pretty damn intimidating when he changes his voice.
Oh boy, that's funny. So, but I'm guessing after that, you never really bothered dressing up as Batman again, at least not around Dallas.
No, I take that back. I take that back. Someone asked me to do Batman for a charity for this little boy who had leukemia, and that was an outside event, but it was November, and it's cold down here in November in Louisiana, believe it or not. So I was okay. I was like, yeah, that's fine. It's because when I wore it outside, I was actually warm because that costume is hot. But I did it, and I took pictures with the kids to do the charity event for this little fella who had, I think it was leukemia. But yeah, that was the only other time I believe wearing the Batman suit. But yeah, that's hot. And then, matter of fact, Chip Kidd came here to Shreveport, and he had a whole Batman exhibit, and they asked me would I come dressed as Batman. I was like, I'll let someone else wear it. I'll let someone borrow my costume. So I gave it to one of my buddies, and he was Batman, and I dressed up as the Kingdom Come Superman because I had met Chip before in New York when Alex Ross was there. And when I came to the museum or the Arts Council, if you will, Chip remembered me. He's like, oh, you're here. Yeah, as far as Batman, if I do Batman again, I'm going to need a different cape and a different cowl because, look, if you're not comfortable, you're not going to enjoy yourself. You got to be comfortable in cosplay. Otherwise, you're just going to be miserable. That's, when I did Bizarro in New York, I was wearing contacts and prosthetics, and so usually they have to kick me out of the convention because I want to stay as long as I can and get as much entertainment and love and or give out as much love as I can at these cosplay events or these conventions. But when I was Bizarro, the contacts would just bother me so much. I think it was like 3 p.m. I looked at my wife and I was like, I think I'm ready to go. She's like, okay, let's go. But now when I do Bizarro, I don't wear the contacts. I'm not saying that's anything against contacts. Just I have a hard time wearing them. So I'm thinking about my eyes, and I was like putting drops in my eyes just to kind of keep them moisturized. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of contacts.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was either way. Yeah, you pull off all the stuff that's Bizarro, like especially with the prosthetics around the face and everything, with the crackles and stuff. Like
yeah. It basically goes here to here and over your nose, and you glue it down it's not spirit glue, it's a different kind of glue, but it's similar to spirit gum or glue, whatever you want to call it. And then you put the makeup on, and then you put the cracks in there, and you try to make it to where it looks, of course, like you're dead. The makeup bothered me, like I said, and the prosthetics, it was more the contacts. That's what would bother me. But anytime I would move my face, the prosthetics would pop. So I had to go to get one of those cosplay repair people. I don't know if you've seen them walking around conventions or not. There's these people who are cosplay repair, and they have all like sewing equipment. They have makeup, they have glue, and I found this one cute little girl. She was a cosplay repair person, and she took eyelash glue and was putting it under there to hold it down. So that worked for a little bit. Of course, like I said, you're hot and you're sweating and your body's going to try to get rid of it, if you will. So when I would do this again, it finally popped. But we made our way back to the room after being Bizarro for a full day. So yeah.
Were you able to eat with all that stuff on your face or no?
No, you can eat.
Okay. Wasn't sure if they would mess up with the stuff you put on and everything.
You're like, if you wear lipstick, it'll come off. Like with anybody who wears makeup, will tell you, if you women when they eat, their lipstick will probably come off. So I think when I came off, usually when I did the Bizarro, I had like black lipstick, and when I would be done, I'd have to reapply it. Now, mind you, I'm conscientious of what I'm doing. I'm not shoving a sandwich all over my face. I'm precisely putting the food in my mouth. So, and what's funny is people really get a kick out of when they see someone dressed up eating, which was amazing. When I was at GeekCon here in Shreveport, I don't remember the guy's name. I hate that I can't remember his name, but one of the Harry Potter actors saw me in the green room and I was eating. And he goes, "Can I take a picture of you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll stand up." He goes, No. I want a picture of you eating." I was like, "Oh, okay." But I guess they think it's amusing to see a hero eating something. So like, sure, that's fine. But I'm always conscious.
Was it a hero sandwich?
No, it was gumbo or something like that. Hero sandwich, yeah, appropriate. I think it was like gumbo or something like that. But anytime they do a show here in Louisiana at the GeekCon, they usually feed us the local restaurant. There's a restaurant here called Bojack's, which is really good. They usually give us, I want to say, like link sausage and gumbo, brisket, and things like that. So, look, Louisiana is some of the best food you'll ever eat in your life. That's why it's hard to keep the pounds down, because this food is so good around here. So, yeah.
I guess for that, you probably have the kind of job where you're physically active most of the day.
I wish. I sit at a monitor all day, so I have to do extra cardio to burn it off. So I work at a hospital. So yeah, I wish I had more physical activity, but I just sit there. So I watch monitors right now. Yeah, that's what I do for right now.
As long as the job that pays, right?
Hey man, yeah, I was a medic in the military for 24 years, and I was very active then. But now it's more of a sedentary job. You know, you just kind of sit and watch. I was an EMT for 26 years. Got it when I was in the military, and then when I retired from the military, I really didn't need it anymore, so I just kind of let it lapse. But I did a job, so I went and got a job in the hospital.
Yeah, that works.
Yes, sir. It pays the bills.
So I guess with this next question, besides Christopher Reeve, what was your favorite Superman?
Chris Reeve, all time. I'm telling you, that's a core memory. Seeing that guy up there on that big old screen. I like Chris Reeve. I do like Dean Cain too. He is super, super, super nice. We met him in Metropolis one year. I'm just a big fan of him altogether. I would come home from work and to watch that TV show, and that would be my chill moment. It's like I made specific time to watch his show, the Lois and Clark show. I used to love that show. And Terry Hatcher was pretty, and he was a great Superman. I liked how it was filmed. I liked how they perceived him. He was a true Superman fan, in my opinion. So anytime they get someone who actually respects the genre, like Henry Cavill does too. He loves Superman. He loved being Superman. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they hired me to be Superman, you could get me out of that costume. I'm Superman. But yeah, they embody that character. So I was really impressed with the way Dean Cain did it, and I liked it. So
yeah, but it's funny how he always has his arms crossed whenever he shows up as Superman.
That's a thing, man. That's a thing. Yeah, arms crossed. I liked how the fact they showed him eating junk food and eating fat too. So you're eating ding dongs? All right, what's you gonna do that? So, but Chris Reeve, yeah, those two are some of my favorites. And like I said, Henry Cavill recently, I love him to death. He was a true fan. He knew Superman. He loved being Superman, which I can't blame the man. He took the time out to get himself in physically fit shape to be the part. I mean, don't get me wrong. Anytime they hire someone to be Superman, if you don't embody the character, why do it? That's a mainstay. That's America. Superman's. That's how I feel about it. Some people argue with you. Oh, well, Superman's universal. Well, he is. He's from Krypton. He's from all over. He's worldly. But let's just be honest. Truth, justice, American way is the way I was raised, and that's the way I'll remember it for all time. That's just the way I
guess you're more with that saying than the new one they got with like truth, justice, and something tomorrow, I think, or something. I forgot. They changed it.
Or something like that, which is fine. I get it. They want it to be more worldly. I get it. Like they said, when they had the cartoon, the Ruby Spears cartoon, they really embodied that whole saying. And then way back in the day with George Reeves, he was all about true justice, American way. And that's also another show I watched back in the day where it was black and white. I like that too. But I mean, I get it. It's a slogan. I just like being patriotic. I like the patriotic way. I mean, come on. I'm born and bred. I bleed red, white, and blue. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Have you ever auditioned for Superman in a role like like in a legit kind of production?
I didn't do. I tried to do the Superman. Metropolis. I sent my pictures in to be that guy. Josh got that one. Josh, he got that one, which is fine. He does a great job. I never did anything as far as Superman production. Mind you, I did one when I was a kid, but that was like a little play where I was Superman. They picked me to be Superman in a play. What I thought that was cute. It was at the Red River Rebel, and there's like, hey, we need a kid to play Superman, and I'm wearing Underoos shirt. Back in the day, they're like, you'll do. But no, I never actually got to do that. However, I was in Disaster Movie, which is a spoof of the superhero movies, but I wasn't Superman. I was the middle Hulk, and it's like all of 3 seconds of film where they show Bruce Banner changing into the Hulk, and the scene where they show the transformation, where the shirt rips and the arm rips. That's me. So 3 days of filming and 3 seconds of film, and that's what we got, that Hulk scene. So now anytime anybody asks, say, were you in a film, I was like, yeah, I was the Hulk, the middle Hulk, but you won't even see this. If you look at the pictures, you'll see my torso was painted, but they didn't paint my face. And the guy who was the bigger Hulk was Roland Kickinger, who was a bodybuilder, and he was on some spoof Baywatch show back in the day. I can't remember the name of that. But I've been in movies. I did Olympus Has Fallen, where you'll see me sitting there behind Morgan Freeman. I don't say anything. I'm just an extra. I was in the Jessica Simpson movie, Private Valentine, where I was the T.I. banging on the bus. You can barely see my face because it was dark out. And she was a sweetheart, by the way. Like I said, we did a fan film. My buddy Jamal Johns, he did a fan film. I think it was called Dark Superman, but he already had someone cast for Superman, but I was Bane.
But I mean, come on, like.
Yeah. And when he asked me, he goes, hey, I'm doing this film. You want to be Bane? I'm like, dude, you know me. You're Lex Luthor. I'm Superman. I think he had more access to this other actor because I was in the military, so it was kind of hard to break away. And I could only do like 1 or 2 days of filming as opposed to a continuous shoot. So, which is fine. Okay. Like I said, when Hollywood came to Louisiana, I jumped on that bandwagon. I tried to get in there as much as I could, and I still go to auditions, so maybe one day. But I think, let's see, what's the big ones that you'll see? Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay, or Escape from Guantanamo Bay. That's one of them. I was a goon. And then in year one, I was an extra. I was a soldier, and at the end of the movie, you'll see me kill the king. So that was my big claim to fame. But if you watch Olympus Has Fallen, you'll just see me speckled throughout the background, just sitting there.
Being all Secret Service like with Morgan Freeman.
Secret Service, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool though. Yeah, to be pretty close with some of these actors.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman sat right next to me when we were doing a break. I don't want to cuss on here, but he sat next to me, and I asked him, says, Morgan, what are you doing after this? And he goes, well, I'm going down to Las Vegas, and I'm gonna talk to Tom Cruise, and I'm gonna talk to this person. I was like, okay. And then he goes, what are you doing after this? I was like, I'm going back to work. He goes, where do you work? And I says, I work at the Air Force Base. He goes, you're in the Air Force? You're in the military? I was like, yeah. He goes, have you been overseas? I'm like, yeah, I've been 5 times. He goes, 5 times. Yeah, put whatever explicative you want in there. Effing times. 5 effing times. I'm like, yeah. As a matter of fact, that guy right there, he's in the military. That guy right there is in the military. The guy above us, Bill Stinchcomb, he's in the military. He goes, oh, well, I feel safe. I was like, you should. You're right down the base. Barksdale Air Force Base is right down the road from us. So, yeah, that was fun. Angela Bassett sat right in front of me for 7 days. So I was like, look for that long. So it was great. I tell you what, every time I left a production, I had a big smile on my face. I loved going on the movie sets and just having fun. It was great to pretend, even if it was just Secret Service, just sitting there. I enjoyed the whole process of it, watching it happen. You know, the lights, the camera, the actors, just everything. It's a well-oiled machine when it comes to the Hollywood production crews. It was fun. I enjoy that. I miss it. They left Louisiana for certain reasons, and they went to Atlanta, which I'm like, well, okay, maybe I should go to Atlanta.
Well, at least for you, that's not too far of a drive if you wanted to.
8 hours. It's pretty far. It's
8 hours.
It's 8 hours from my house. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I have a big old truck, so the gas mileage.
Yeah. Never mind that.
But if they ever have an audition, I drive over there if I need to. I don't have a problem going over there. If they need me, I'll go. I've driven to New Orleans many times for auditions, so that's 5 hours. From where I live, North Louisiana. I don't live in South Louisiana. There's a difference. People don't understand that. When you go past I-10, they call that Cajun, Yankee Cajuns, and down below it's Cajun. So the people talk different. You hear the way I talk like I'm from Texas. That's because Texas is right down the street and Arkansas is down the way. And I have more of a Southern accent, where people down the bottom part of Louisiana have more of a Cajun-ish accent. They talk like a Sihon. So.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that fully until today.
Right. I'm telling you, when I lived in New Jersey, I worked at a spirit store, and every time someone would come in, they'd go, "Where are you from?" And I'd say, "You got to guess." And they never ever guess Louisiana. And they go, "Are you from Tennessee or Kentucky?" No. And then one lady said, "You sound like you're from East Texas." Like, that's close. That's like right down the street from my house. I says, but it's more Bossier City. So I live in that neck of the woods. Kind of like right down the street from the Duck Dynasty guys. So if you ever watched Duck Dynasty, they're in Monroe, or excuse me, West. Yeah, don't piss them off of that, because there's a difference between West and Monroe. West Monroe, Monroe. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we sound like that I-20 corridor, if you will. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, sir.
Well, I would say that's probably about it for today's podcast. I want to say thank you again, Michael, for being a part of this.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. It's been a blast. It's a great time. Great way to spend a Saturday talking Superman and superheroes. I love it. I can talk all day about that stuff. So, yeah.
Definitely. It's great that a character like Superman has, still makes an impact after 85 years, and let's hope he can still continue for another 85.
I think he'll be here way after we're gone. Superman is universal now, so he's going to be here for a long, long time after we're gone.
Yep. And thanks to all you viewers for tuning in, and happy Superman Day.
Y'all stay super now.
Thanks for tuning in on Superman Day, everybody. If you want to see more of Michael Byrnes cosplays, be sure to click the link below and follow him on Instagram. As always, like and subscribe for more content. This is BD Knight, signing out.